Hello everyone, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day and welcome to this very unusual live. Nice to see so many people. Can we do, before I start guys, a sound check? Make sure everyone can hear me. Just let me know down below with a 1 if you can hear me. Take my headphones out for a minute. Ron, how are you? Ravi, Kent, Lynn, hope you're all well. Just woke up, morning Dan, hope you're well. I'm mega excited as usual guys, I'm always excited to bring these type of things. Now this is what we normally do. This is different to what we normally do, really different. Really different to what we normally do. Normally everything we do is about traffic, converting traffic, creating shortcuts, everything else. This is really different, okay? This is really different to what I normally do. Now, I've been involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for a long while, okay? I've been doing it myself probably. In fact, I looked yesterday when I first bought my first Bitcoin and it was 2017. So that's what, 4 years ago. And I bought that when it was 3,700. And I bought some just before that when it was 1,800 pounds, I think that was, rather than dollars. And obviously it's shot up a lot since, it's gone down a lot. And if you don't know anything about cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin or what they are, don't worry, I have got someone I class as an expert on this, okay? There's a lot of people out there that they post about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies when they become the fashion, then that goes away and then they're posting about something else again just to try and get some people into their new scheme, whatever that is. This guy, okay, has been doing cryptocurrencies for about 4 years solid. He's been in cryptocurrencies for a number of years. I'll let him tell. I think it's about 7-8 years now, mate. Pretty much just after it started. But I'll let this guy tell you about it. I actually known this guy for 6-7 years myself. Okay, he was a solo ad vendor. And he moved over to this. He was looking for a way to get paid. Found cryptocurrency and moved over completely to it. So someone I trust, is someone I like a lot, and you guys will like him too. And he will show what he knows about cryptocurrencies. Now, how many people have tried anything with cryptocurrencies before? Bitcoin, Ethereum, that kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't, let me just put no. Just put no in the comments below. And then we know where to start. Guys, if you don't worry. We've got this guy coming on. He's going to explain it all to you. Again, this is a bit different to what we normally do, but this is the first income stream multiplier. Graham, how are you, mate? Dorit has. Brilliant. Because sometimes they can be a little bit confusing. You see it all and you think, what's this? What's that? Like, what the hell's a Bitcoin? What all these different cryptocurrencies? Been doing it for a while. Brilliant, Vintage. Graham? No. David says no. Yeah, loads, says Mandy. Syed says no. Brilliant. So we know there's kind of a 50-50. And that's the thing, Pearl. Pearl says, yes, been scammed. This is why we want to put this on, guys. A lot of people get contacted and they're promised these weird and wonderful returns. Okay, being scammed by 3 platforms, exactly. This is what we want to stop happening, guys. I've seen people in this group join these programs. All right, I want that to stop. Okay, and you're going to see why when Paul comes on, how he can help and how you can learn cryptocurrencies the right way. Okay, so I'm going to bring my special guest on. Let me just change over my screen. This guy's name is Paul. Paul, how are you, mate? They can see you.
Right.
Just let me know, guys, you can see Paul and you can hear him.
Can you hear me?
Just let me know in the comments. There's about a 20-second delay with this. There's about a 20-second delay. Anyway, this is Paul, guys. I know Paul for 6-7 years when I first heard of you. Anyway, and when it comes to cryptocurrencies, this is the go-to guy. Okay, what we're about to show you today is the first thing I ever done when it comes to cryptos. This is what got me into it. I now have 6 figures of cryptocurrencies in my portfolio because of what I've learned. Okay, so Paul, tell the guys a bit about yourself and how you fell in love with cryptocurrencies.
All right, cheers, mate. So yeah, my name's Paul D'Souza. I currently live in Johannesburg in South Africa. Although I've lived in a couple of places around the world, and one of those places was the Philippines. And while I was living there, it's when I came across crypto and started taking it quite seriously about 6-7 years ago. And it was out of necessity. I've told the story a number of times, but PayPal had shut my account down. I used to do traffic. I used to sell a lot of traffic. And if PayPal doesn't understand your business model, they will freeze your account. And that's exactly what they did to me. And they froze my account with a lot of money in it. And I was kind of stuck. Now, a friend of mine had been trying to tell me about Bitcoin, and I really was not interested. I didn't want to know what this Bitcoin thing was. And until I needed it, and I went back to him and I said to him, listen, I'm a bit stuck here, but can I use this Bitcoin thing to send and receive money? And he gave me a crash course on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And when he was done, what I saw was it wasn't just a means to make money. I saw something that was going to completely and utterly change the world. And it was at that point that I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I had gone around looking around online trying to find more information, and a lot of the information was like very disparate. It was all over the place. There wasn't any type of place that could teach a person from A to Z about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So that at that point I decided I was going to do something about that, because the one thing that is missing from the space is education. And then my partner and I started talking about putting something together. And that's how we got started in our company, and that's what we focus on. We focus on the 2 different facets of education in cryptocurrencies. The one side, we teach people about the basics, like what Bitcoin is, how it came to be, why it came to be. And on the flip side, we teach people various ways to make money from cryptocurrencies. And one of the big ones is through trading. We teach people a method of trading that, if followed to the T, works. It just works. And we fine-tuned that over the last 4 years. We've been around for nearly 4 years now, and we fine-tuned that to the point where anyone who follows the system to the T, there's no reason why they cannot become a successful day trader. Yeah. Anything else you want me to mention, mate? Wayne?
No, that's awesome, mate, and that's exactly it. And guys, as we go through this, the idea is for you guys to learn on this live, okay? Because what I hate seeing, Paul, and I hate this. Yeah. Is seeing people get drawn into these programs. Give me a Bitcoin and you're going to get 2 Bitcoin back in 7 days. They're clearly scams, they're clearly Ponzi's, but because people maybe don't understand basic, business and these cryptos, the whole idea of putting this in our income stream multiplier is to stop people do that and do cryptocurrencies the right way. And you've been doing this full time for a long while now, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing through my investigations, I found that there were a lot of companies that they promised a certain return. Now, folks, I don't care who you are. There's absolutely no one on this planet that can guarantee you a certain amount of income through cryptocurrencies or otherwise. And some of it just doesn't make sense. Now, there's a lot of companies where they say to you, give us your Bitcoin and we will trade for you. Straight away, that's a huge red flag, and this is why. Why does a company need to collect other people's money to trade for them? Because if you're such a hotshot trader, you can borrow $5,000 from your mum and then turn that into a couple of million. Okay, there's no reason why they need to take your Bitcoin and trade with it. There's no reason whatsoever. So anyone that says that, immediately red flags go up. The only exception to that are funds or indices where they're basically hedging from one investment to another. Now, those are hedge funds, and normally those are set up by financial service providers or whatever the case is. But some Mickey Mouse company that says that they will guarantee you a 30% return on your Bitcoin, straight away it's a Ponzi. And I've seen a lot of these come and go. And we do cover that a lot. We do cover a lot of that in our courses, like how to watch out for these type of scams. What are the things that you need to be aware of? And the one thing I'll tell you right now today is that if you are not in control of your money, if you're not in control of your trades, all right, you're in for a world of hurt. And most recently, we heard of a company that a lot of people were saying, well, I don't want to learn how to trade, but there's this company, and they were called MTI. There's this company that they will trade for me. And I warned people against them. I said, look, this does not sound like it's a good idea because of all the reasons I've mentioned. And a week ago, I learned that the CEO of that company made off with 17,000 Bitcoins. That's $680 million of investors' money. And a lot of those people that said, well, I don't want to learn how to trade, I'll just give this company my money, they've gone very silent because now a lot of them are hurting. It's hurt people because it was a multinational company, all around the world. And a couple of South Africans lost millions, people that I know personally. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, do watch out for those scams, folks. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
It is. And I can see some comments. Guys, ask the questions and keep the comments coming. So I'll ask Paul. Paul can't see them. But there's a new USI Tech Ponzi schematic called Yo. A lot of these do pay out in the beginning, guys, because they'll think, well, it's working. And then you share it, more people come in. Yeah, you share it, more people come in. Then all of a sudden, the money runs out or the money runs off. It's normally one of them two because they're a Ponzi. Okay? So that's how they work. So, Paul, just to explain to the people that are new to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, can you explain in simple terms what they are? Because it's quite hard for me to explain to someone.
Right, no problem. In order to fully understand cryptocurrencies, all right, you need to understand that over the past few thousand years, the money has changed different forms. Initially, way back when the Mesopotamian tribes 6,000 years ago used to trade with each other, they used to use things like weapons or shiny shells or salt as forms of money. And then it went over to precious metals, bronze, and then gold. And then gold was used for a very long time until it got to a point where people decided, hold on, gold is too cumbersome to carry around. And early day bankers said, well, give us your gold. And what we will do is we will give you like an IOU. And that IOU could have been anything. It could have been like an animal skin with a king's stamp on it or whatever the case is. And that was used instead of the gold because they knew that they could always go and fetch their gold. So that eventually became from animal skins and so on to smaller pieces of paper to the point where we got the currency that we keep in our wallets today. Although along the way, a lot of that, there were a lot of problems. People used to take the gold coins and chip a little bit off it. And when they had, every time that they got a new gold coin, they would just take a knife and just cut a little bit of gold off there until they had enough to create a new gold coin. That was early day counterfeiting. And so many other problems came around. Also the fact that the guys that were controlling the gold were giving out more IOUs and demanding interest than what they actually were holding onto the gold. And there was supposed to be an equal amount of gold and an equal amount of paper money because the one is an IOU for the other. And the next evolution is now where people have gone, okay, this has worked well for a while, but it could be better. And how do we combat all the problems that we face with today's modern money? And it just led us to the point where the next form of money would become a digital form of money. And that is how cryptocurrencies were born. It was out of a necessity to solve a massive worldwide problem, which was the problems that we face today with our money. One of the biggest problems actually came in the early 70s where they severed that tie between gold and money, allowing banks to create as much money as they wanted to. Them doing that created more debt, okay, because they would then pass on that extra money to people in the streets and so on in the form of loans. And those people would need to then pay back those loans. It got to the point where we are now living in a debt bubble. This debt bubble is so huge, it is trillions and trillions of dollars in debt that is owed. So we got X amount of real money, yet X amount of debt, which is way bigger than the real money. And that is the reality of the type of world that we live in today. So cryptocurrencies, and especially specifically Bitcoin, was designed to combat those problems with money. That was the one thing. And then the evolution after that, which soon followed, was this whole idea of, hold on, can we do something else with it? And so they've been managing to take cryptocurrencies and solve real world problems and completely change how we see finance. And we're in this phase at the moment where things are moving really, really quickly and changing just because people have now realized that a digital form of money that can be accounted for at any point cannot be counterfeited, cannot be stolen. Like these cryptocurrencies are solid, and the fundamentals behind cryptocurrencies is mathematics, and people can't trust any other form of money or anything else other than something that is completely logical, and that is mathematics, which is the driving force behind cryptocurrencies. So I kind of hope that answers what cryptocurrencies are and why they exist.
It does. The thing that amazes me is it's not so much the cryptocurrencies themselves, it's the technology behind it and the way the technology works. I don't want to go into that too much, but basically it's a pair-based system. So you have basically a ledger, and all these ledgers have to agree. So it's always true. It's always true. It's basically the way it works. They've taken that. So started with Bitcoin, okay, guys, and what happened? They looked at the technology before, this peer-to-peer kind of technology, and they created other cryptocurrencies. So can you tell us some of the other cryptocurrencies, Paul, just some of the big ones?
No, absolutely. Okay, so firstly, I want to explain what blockchain is, because I'm sure you guys have heard that as a buzzword. Everybody knows, or they've heard the word blockchain before, but what is it? And I'll explain really quickly. Every transaction that happens on, say, the Bitcoin network, all right, as Wayne said, it goes into this worldwide ledger, which then is stored on various computers around the world, and those need to be verified at all times between each other. And the way that is done is every 10 minutes, a new block of information containing the newest transactions gets formed, and then gets chained onto the next block, and the two have to match. So the new one contains information pertaining to the previous one. The next one continues to do so. So it's a chain of blocks of information, and that is where the word blockchain comes from. Now, you can take this blockchain technology, and there's so much that you can actually do with it. Now, one of the next biggest cryptocurrencies to come out after Bitcoin was Ethereum. A lot of you might have heard about Ethereum. Ethereum, funny enough, was not the first cryptocurrency to come after Bitcoin. That was actually something called Namecoin, which I'm not going to talk about. And there were a couple of others like Peercoin. But Ethereum was a massive game changer, because what Ethereum did was they looked at the Bitcoin model, and they said, this is awesome. And you got all these computers around the world which are verifying the transactions, but can we do something more? And the answer was yes. Well, on top of that layer, maybe we can build applications. And the beauty of that is, because your application will be hosted in millions of different places all at the same time, it is guaranteed that no matter what application that you build on this, its uptime will always be 100%. Because the way that blockchain works is half of the network can disappear, but it is still there. The network will still continue to thrive and run, and your application will still continue to work. So guys took that idea and they went, okay, what can we do now? All right, so now we can build applications. And the next evolution was to do something called smart contracts. Now, can you imagine writing pre-programmed bits of programs that execute on a certain command on this blockchain and automatically funnel money to wherever it needs to go? And that can be used in things like payroll, because payroll is a big issue. A lot of people get their pay wrong, especially when it's done manually. You got some woman who's now just like she's got a hangover after the night before, and she's trying to work out your pay, and she gets it wrong. And then when she needs to try and fix it, you can only get paid again in 2 weeks' time, because that's how payroll works. But with blockchain technology, it's a smart contract. It calculates automatically how many hours you worked. It deducts your tax and sends your pay to you directly to your phone, no mistakes. So that would be like the next evolution. But there are so many more coming out, like Civic. Civic's been around for a couple of years. That is where they take your identification, they encrypt it, they put it on the blockchain, they know how old you are and so on. Then you can use your phone almost like an ID. All right, there's vending machines that sell beer, all right, that you need to scan the barcode to prove how old you are, and it dispenses a beer. How awesome is that? That is the power of blockchain and some of the new stuff coming out. Yeah. And there's just so much more.
Yeah, there's so many, it's limitless. The ideas behind that can come out with the technology is limitless. Hopefully that explains it, guys. Some of the more in-depth questions I'll ask near the end, guys, just so we keep the tempo up and bring people through this kind of journey.
Keep those questions coming. Yeah. Keep those questions coming, and at the end, I'll be more than happy to try and answer as many of them as I can.
And you'll realise how much Paul knows, guys. He's been doing this game. This is the guy that the only person I trust for information to do with crypto. And that leads us talking about the new smart contracts, the technologies and stuff coming out. That leads us into the question, guys. Whenever I look at traffic source, whenever I look at a business model, I always try and cash flow forward and think, is this got longevity? We talk about that a lot. So that brings us in the next question that I've got is, what is the future? Will it ever disappear? Will it kind of fizzle out, or will it continue to grow? I know the answer to this, but I want the guys to realise this opportunity.
Right. Before I answer that, I'm going to just really quickly Google something, because this is, I'm going to Google the question, how many times has Bitcoin died? Because this is awesome. All right. 390 times since 2010. And those are people like Forbes and a lot of news outlets and like all these huge companies or financial gurus or whatever the case is saying, Bitcoin's dead, Bitcoin's dying, Bitcoin's going away. But yet it seems to keep coming back to life. And today it's sitting at over $30,000. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are not going away. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are the next evolution of money. A lot of countries have already started building their fiat currencies on blockchain networks. So basically, today we've also got another type of cryptocurrency, which is called a stable coin. And stable coins are pegged to a particular fiat currency, like the dollar or whatever the case is, 1-to-1. One of those is something called the US dollar tether, USDT. It's exactly 1-to-1 to the dollar. And a lot of companies, countries have now started doing exactly the same. Where especially out in South America, a lot of those countries there with a currency that is not stable and hyperinflation, all of that, what they've now done is they're now starting to move away from normal currencies, normal fiat currencies, and they're moving towards digital currencies. Now, if the whole world is now moving towards this new way of dealing with money, you tell me, is it going away anytime soon, or is it going to evolve into a bigger monster?
Exactly, mate. It's gonna get much bigger. And the thing that you got to think of at the minute, guys, and this is the way I think of it, is what's going on in the world with COVID and everything. A lot of currencies are going to devalue against each other, and people look, where can I store this money where it stores its value? Okay. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people move to cryptocurrency, which pushes the price up. It's a store of value. Okay. Some people move to gold. Some people, they're kind of the two things I trust to store value. Okay.
That is exactly why they've called Bitcoin digital gold, because in times of strife, people automatically, they used to turn to gold. So they would automatically take whatever other assets they had, or whatever the money they had, and put it straight away into gold, because it had a habit of holding its value. And now Bitcoin has been touted as digital gold because of the same reason, because it holds its value. Yes, there is a lot of volatility, and we have seen Bitcoin go from 8 cents right in the beginning all the way to $42,000 and back down. Initially, back in 2017, went to nearly $20,000, went down to $3,500, but it always comes back. It wasn't that long before it was back over $10,000, went to 14, came down, then shot up to 20, came down, went up to 42. Now it's come down, and it's this cycle, folks. It's a huge cycle, and it keeps on doing that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So Janika says, recently introduced to crypto, and this is the exact information she needs to hear. The important thing is, guys, that we want to get across, that I want to get across, cryptocurrencies are not a scam, right? A lot of programs that come along are a scam. Cryptocurrencies are the future, and that's what you got to think. So you've got to think, how do I get, if you're not on the cryptocurrency kind of knowledge train yet, how do you get into it? And that is the whole point. Stay to the end. I'll show you the best source for cryptocurrency education. Okay, it's that simple. So we've talked about the future. Now let's talk about the thing that I think most people want to hear, which is the different ways to make money from Bitcoin, the proper ways to make money from Bitcoin. Not the give me one Bitcoin, I'll turn it into 3 for you next week.
All right. So this is going to be a little bit of a educational session. I don't mind. I love talking about crypto. I love teaching people about crypto. I've been doing that for the last, God knows how many years now. So yeah, I'm going to get like really excited there. But before I do want to touch on what Wayne said there about cryptocurrencies not being a scam. There are scams that have been executed using cryptocurrencies. There are certain cryptocurrencies that have done what they call scam exits or whatever the case is. All right. And this is why we always tell people, do your homework. Do your homework. Don't get sucked into, oh, hold on. When someone tells you it's the next Bitcoin, instead of running towards it, you need to run away from it. Because people will tell you that, especially in today's times where they know that not enough people have got enough information to make an informed decision, they'll tell you it's going to be bigger than Bitcoin. That is very difficult to believe. It is very difficult to believe when you think about the amount of money that has been poured into Bitcoin now, like $750 billion is what the Bitcoin cap, worldwide cap is. In order for the next cryptocurrency to come along and overtake that, means that they would need to exceed that. Folks, it's very difficult. But in any case, right, on to the ways of making money from cryptocurrency. The biggest way so far has been with mining. But the thing is, to mine Bitcoin is it's difficult. You've got to pay for electricity. You've got to have the hardware. In the early days, guys used to be able to mine Bitcoin just using a normal CPU on a laptop or whatever the case is. And the rewards in the beginning were huge because every time that a block was uncovered, and I'll explain that in some other sessions, but it's basically Bitcoin works off a mathematical algorithm. And every time that algorithm gets solved, the computer that solves it gets rewarded 50 Bitcoins. And in the beginning, that's the way it was. But then every 4 years, that reward halves. So it's now become harder and harder to mine Bitcoin because the difficulty increases and the reward drops. So in the beginning, people mined Bitcoin for dirt cheap using normal CPUs, like you could do it on a laptop. But today, in order to mine Bitcoin, you need really powerful machines, ASIC machines. They've got one function, and that's just to mine Bitcoin. So in order for you to become profitable as a miner, you would need to invest a lot of money into a big mining operation. Sure, if you want to be a hobbyist miner, you can do that, but it would never be life-changing. Right? That's the one way. Okay, but a lot of people in the cryptocurrency industry, they took a look at the consensus algorithm, basically the algorithm behind solving and making sure that everything was running smoothly on the network. The initial one was called proof of work, which used the mining, and they said, how can we change this? How can we make this better? And then came out something called proof of stake. Now that was the kind of next evolution in the consensus algorithms, where they now said, okay, mining takes up too much power. All right, it costs far too much. Is there an easier way? And the answer is yes. So they developed this new technique called staking, all right, using something called proof of stake, where all that you would need to do is hold some cryptocurrency in a wallet, okay, and have it connected to the internet. It doesn't use up a lot of resources, not like mining, okay, and the network automatically pays you simply for doing that. That is active staking. There's a whole new way, a kind of side way of staking called passive staking. Now you can hold certain cryptocurrencies in a wallet that are not connected to the internet, and simply because you are holding them, you'll get paid. Sometimes on some of these, you can earn 12 to 20% per annum. It is better than any bank. Okay, so a lot of people have now realized that staking not only helps the network and helps verify all the transactions that are happening, but it also increases the likelihood that a lot of these cryptocurrencies are going to increase in value because they are not on the markets. They're sitting in people's wallets. That is the second way. The third way that you can make money from cryptocurrencies is through trading. Okay. Well, let's get on to trading in a second. Investing. That is, you buy some cryptocurrency today in the hopes that it will rise in value, and then you sell it sometime in the future. All right. That is the third way. The fourth way, and that is trading. Millions upon millions of dollars are traded. It's a huge amount of money that gets traded every single day. And trading does not take a huge investment. A lot of people have started really small and then increased as they've gone along and increased the amount that they've invested. simply by compounding, and we're going to touch on that in a second. So there's 4 ways that you can actually make money from cryptocurrencies. Wayne, have you got any questions at this point?
Not that loads of questions coming through, mate. Just nothing really talking about individual coins and things. Again, we'll answer them towards the end as we go through this for you guys. We just got I've got a number of questions I want to ask Paul, and then we'll do a Q&A right at the end, guys, to answer all the questions. Because if there's a coin, Paul's the man to speak to, right?
Okay.
So did all that make sense, guys? Are they the 4 ways? There are other little ways as well, like ICOs and things like that. Does that make sense, guys? Any questions on what we covered there?
ICOs, I can answer that really quickly. An ICO is an initial coin offering. It's very similar to an IPO. That's when a company would list a stock on the stock exchange, and they have like a pre-sale so that people can buy before it actually gets listed. And then often the day that it gets listed, it shoots through the roof. They sell, they make a fortune. But there are a lot of instances where the exact opposite has happened. And one of those, or 2 that I know most notably, is Snapchat and Facebook. A lot of people thought that Facebook stock was going to fly through the roof the day that it was listed. And guess what? It went down. It kind of it went the opposite way that people were thinking. And I would advise people to, if you're going to start dabbling in ICOs, it's a gamble. Unless, of course, you take the time, read the white paper, get to research every single person involved in the project. Look at who's running it. Look at those people individually, because a lot of their websites will say, here's our advisory board, and we got this guy from this country and that guy from this place, and whatever the case is. Go and Google those people. Go and look for their LinkedIn profiles. Go and do your research to see. And the one thing that you can do is type the person's name space scam. Type the person's name space scam. You keep doing that in Google. If a person has been involved in some type of a scam or whatever the case is, you do not want to get involved with that ICO whatsoever. Like, rather stay away. But ICOs can pay off if you do your homework, if you choose them really, really carefully, and for good reason. And whatever you do, do not get emotionally involved. Do not let emotions make any decisions for you. You need to allow logic to dictate when you are participating in things like ICOs. And I'll give you a very good example of the path I took when investing into an ICO. One of those ICOs that I made a lot of money from was Tezos. Now, there was a reason, okay? Ethereum, a lot of people fell in love with Ethereum. Ethereum was a game changer in terms of what they could do, allowing people to write applications on top of their network layer, and also the smart contracts and all the rest. The one thing, however, is that it was badly built, okay? And now Ethereum kind of has to undo what they started in order to move forward with Ethereum 2.0, right? Don't know if a lot of people know that, but there's 2 different versions of Ethereum. Ethereum 2 will eventually take over from where Ethereum is. Ethereum 2 will be proof of stake. Currently, Ethereum is proof of work, which is mining. So you can currently only mine Ethereum, but moving forward into the future, not just yet, when Ethereum 2 launches, then you'll be able to stake it, okay? And Tezos was a company that went, okay, we're going to build a platform very similar to Ethereum, except we're not going to build it badly. We're going to do things from the ground up and build it with all the features and its own programming language and its platform and everything and its ecosystem, without the mistakes that Ethereum made, okay? And that stuck in my mind. I thought, okay, let me dig a little bit further into it. Now, before I continue there, back in the early part of 2017, when Bitcoin was just $700, there was a gentleman by the name of Tim Draper, who's a large venture capitalist. He called $10,000 in 2017 and he went live on TV saying, listen, this Bitcoin thing is going to go to $10,000 this year. People thought he was absolutely nuts. Now, Tim Draper was half wrong, because Bitcoin actually went to 20,000 that year. Okay, so that made me go, okay, so this is a bit of an important guy. Then I read that Tezos was at that time, the only other cryptocurrency that he had ever mentioned or spoke about or wanted to be linked to other than Bitcoin. So that made me go, okay, so Tezos, they they're trying to fix a problem. It was Ethereum's massive issue. Okay, and one of the other issues that Ethereum faces today is the price of their fees to send and receive coins on the network is currently heavy. And you know what else is good about it? I had a look at who was behind the project. I realized that Tim Draper had spoken highly of them. So I decided, yes, okay, I would go then forward. I read their white paper, understood it, understood their vision. I knew exactly what they were trying to do, and I invested into that ICO. I bought coins at 40 cents. Today it's $3 odd. Okay, that is how it's done. It's not wish. You know, you got to do the work, folks. Otherwise, all you're doing is gambling. And I don't want you to gamble. I would rather you take the time and research where your money's going to.
That's massive, mate. If anyone think that that's massive advice. So let's try and explain. How many people know what cryptocurrency trading is? How many don't? Because I've got a feeling a lot of people won't know what this is. So I think we should give a nice, simple example, maybe using Bitcoin and Ethereum, of how you trade two pairs.
Okay, so when we talk about pairs, right, we're talking one asset versus another, and that it could be the dollar versus anything really. I mean, right across the board, without looking at cryptocurrencies, trading would be anything from trading, like on Forex, you'd have the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, or the South African rand versus the Great British pound. Those are pairs, okay, when we talk about pairs. On the stock exchange, it could be the US dollar versus Tesla stock. That's a pair. In cryptocurrency circles, like Bitcoin versus Ethereum would be a trading pair. The US dollar versus Bitcoin would be a trading pair. Tezos versus Binance Coin, that's a trading pair. Now, how trading works is it's almost like bidding, like on an auction, okay, where the idea is to bid on a cryptocurrency that you want to try and buy at a lower price, and then as soon as you get it, try and sell it at a higher price, because the markets move. So like there's all this volatility, and the idea is to try and find a wave or a pattern where something is about to come down, and you wait for it to come down, and as soon as it comes down, you try and pinpoint an entry point where you wish to buy, and then when it climbs against its counterpart, its pair, then you sell. Okay. Now the beauty of it is there's so many cryptocurrency pairs, right? There's so many that that you'll never be at a loss for like looking at different pairs. So when people think trading Bitcoin, maybe they think, well, you're just trading against the dollar. No, folks, there is so many different currency pairs on various exchanges that you can actually trade against. I wouldn't even know where to start telling you, because you can trade Bitcoin against almost everything. You can trade the US dollar against almost everything. You can trade Binance Coin against almost anything on Binance. Binance is an exchange. You can trade Ethereum versus almost anything. So if you can imagine that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of different currency pairs, and the idea is exactly the same. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. Look, you could invest long-term buying a coin and selling when it's high. But the thing is, nothing ever goes in a straight line in crypto. It does this. It goes up and down. So along the way, there's this journey where we see it go up and down and up and down. And every time that it goes up, we sell. Every time it comes down, we buy. Okay? You might make 10% in a straight line. But if you had to do this and buy every time it did that, and buy and sell every time it did that, you might make 60%. So trading is a really, really good way to make money with crypto, and we're gonna talk a little bit about more about that, aren't we, Wayne?
Yeah. Does that make sense? What, for those that didn't understand what trading is, does it make sense now what it is? And it's literally that, like, and the prices change all the time, don't they? Literally every few seconds you can see the prices change. You buy, so it's really it's fantastic watching it. Does that make sense? Any questions about trading, guys? If you didn't know what it was, let me know it makes sense. Just put in the comments that made sense. Otherwise, we'll talk about it a little more. Just want to make sure before we move on that makes sense, guys. So let me know in the comments. I know there's a bit of a delay. That's basically all there is to it. Linda says yes. Thanks, Linda. Melanie said yes. Brilliant. Awesome. And I know Jason says yes. A few people said it didn't. It does now, but it is that simple. Now, you'd think it would be that easy. You buy one and you sell on the other, but you got the fact there's all these different cryptocurrencies, okay, which kind of makes it a bit more hectic. But also, which Paul explained. Now, you've got different trading platforms. So that comes into it as well. So different trading platforms often have different prices for these coins as well, don't they? Which makes it more...
Yeah, the differences are I mean, there's arbitrage opportunities. That's sort of another way to make money from crypto, but it's very similar to trading. Where you might have exchange A. An exchange would be like the stock exchange, but in crypto terms, there's so many different exchanges. But we at Icoin Pro, we just focus on the biggest ones. It's the ones with the most volume. Volume is really, really important. It's one of the things that we look at, and we'll teach you about that, because you might get to where you want to sell. The price might get to where you want to sell, but if there's no volume, nobody's buying, then you're going to lose your trade. All right. But there are so many different exchanges. All right, and they all got their own interfaces. So you got, for example, Bittrex. Bittrex, the interface is a little bit difficult to use, and it's a bit archaic if you ask me. You got Poloniex, which is probably a little bit more of an intuitive interface to use, and then you got Binance, who are continuously updating. They're the biggest on the planet. Theirs is a little bit easier to use, and they also use a lot of them use graphs from a website called TradingView. TradingView is a website that is used by traders regardless of what they trade. They could be trading forex, cryptocurrencies, stocks, commodities, anything like that. And a lot of exchanges do pull information, and they do use the charts from TradingView. Binance does, and it won't take you too long to figure out, and we actually show you how to figure out how to actually work everything and how to set up your graphs. So I know that you've seen, I'm sure everybody has seen like these blue wavy lines, and you've got the red and the green candles and whatever the case is. And folks, I know that it might seem like it's very difficult to figure out what these things are. And you know what? When you break it down into small bite-sized pieces, it is so easy to understand. And we do that. Like, we break it down into these small, easy to bite, easy to swallow bites that explain what a green candle is and what a red one means, and what volume is, and so on and so on. And coupled together with that, you can also overlay these things called technical indicators. And the technical indicators are like those blue wavy lines, and so on. And all of those kind of give us an idea. And this is where we start introducing people to the basics of what is known as technical analysis, which we use in conjunction with our trading. We only touch on the very, very basic stuff. If you want to become like a swing trader or a trend trader, whatever the case is, all right, that's when you start diving deeper into technical analysis. But as day traders, what we do is we just introduce you to the real basics, the easy to use ones, and the ones that we've discovered actually work, and we show you how to overlay them on top of your graphs, and we'll show you when to buy in when it looks like something, and then when to sell when it does something else.
Yeah. So basically, guys, basically you look at the trading pairs, and you find signals. That these guys give you signals and say, right, this should go in your favour, buy it. Okay, and that's kind of how it works. There's things out there that give you signals, okay, that whether you should buy it or not. They're not always accurate, but you're looking for as high as accurate as possible most of the time. Now let's talk about, so when you're trading these pairs, what kind of percentages are you looking for to win? Like, what kind of percentages do you see?
People look for different percentages depending on the type of trading that they're doing. So like trend traders, they kind of look for the bigger home run trades, and they don't mind waiting weeks or days. But day traders try and close all their trades within the same day. Okay. You can actually take a cryptocurrency graph, and you can look at it at different time intervals, from 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, 12 hours, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. We as day traders, we look at everything at 1 hour, and we use the 5 minutes as well. So we look at everything through 5-minute glasses as well as 1 hour, because the idea is, as a day trader, you want to try and close your trades within the same day. The trend traders they look at more long-term things. They might look at only days and weeks, or look at months and so on. Sorry, my throat's really, really dry out.
That's right. That's why I always have 2 drinks with me, mate.
Yeah, I've only got one. I did have a coffee, yeah, but it's done now. Yeah. Right. So yeah, so we then break it down into like these small sections, and we then teach you like how to start off your first trade, what to look at. Now, Wayne mentioned, did you use the word signals?
Yeah.
All right, we don't call them signals, but all those wavy lines and all those technical indicators and whatever the case is, they all mean something. All right. Like when those blue wavy lines, I mean, I don't mind sharing my screen. Can I do that, Wayne?
Yep. Give me a second. Just have to set it up. Let me know when you're sharing, mate. If you share, then I have to set stuff on my end.
Oh, right. Okay. Where's the share button? Share screen. All right, I'm sharing. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, give me a sec. I have to set up my end. Oh, there we go. It comes straight on. Let me know you can see and hear Paul's screen, guys.
Can you see and hear my... you can't hear my screen. Can you see my screen and hear my voice?
Can you see his voice and hear his screen? It might look complicated, guys, but like Paul will give you a bird's eye view. Because when I started internet marketing, Paul, I'll just say this: when I started internet marketing, this is what I thought it was. Sitting there looking at graphs and stuff all day is what I thought internet marketing was when I started out.
Crazy. All right, Wayne, can you see my screen? Okay, so you guys see these blue lines, all right? Wayne, can you see them? All right, so those are known as Bollinger Bands. Now you see this thing, there's this huge opening over there, all right? So we call that a bubble, all right? And there's certain things that we actually look for, all right? Like especially when there's like a downtrend like this within a bubble, there's a certain pattern that we look for to try and find a trade. Right? Normally we look for something like 3 dips. So it dipped once there, price climbed up, dipped down there, price climbed up, dipped again for the 3rd time, and look at that, the price went from there to there. So there would have been 1.3% profit that you could make there. Now the question earlier was, what type of profits can you get when doing day trading? Well, it's not uncommon to get the big trades, 7, 8, 9, even 10%. Some of the guys do some big ones. If it's like a really, really long, what we call a long squeeze pattern and a big breakout, you could make 7%. But our system is known as the micro profit system, because what we teach people to do is to make consistent micro profits and compound those. All right. So talking about technical indicators, you can see here that these bands, these Bollinger Bands, they've come together, and they like over here, the distance between the top and the bottom, and I'll even measure it. We can measure that using a tool over here, right? So that between the top and the bottom is 0.71%, okay? Whereas the distance between here and the bottom one over there is 1.03%. So we can see that it's starting to squeeze together. And when those Bollinger Bands start squeezing together, it kind of gives us an indication that there's going to be a breakout. We don't know if it's down. We don't know if it's up. Okay? But we then, in order to try and understand and try and determine whether it's going to be going up or down, we start looking at some of the other indicators. Like now, this one over here is called the RSI. Normally, when the RSI passes above this, I should actually be looking at this 5 minutes. When the RSI is above this line over here, okay, it goes above a number of 70, we refer to that as being overbought. Like too many people are bought, and we're going to see a reversal in price. So you can see here, exactly in line there, it went overbought around there, okay, and then look at that, the price started coming down. It went down to a point where it was now oversold, because now it's in that point, and there's normally a reversal. So it went down to there and climbed from there to there over the space of 3 hours. You could have made 2% profit on that trade. But we look at other things as well. You see these red and green bands over here. This is the amount of volume. We talk about volume. Remember earlier I said that that volume was incredibly important. This is the one thing that we look at. And if you saw this, you would also want to sell because it means that the price is coming down. Okay, so we use that in conjunction. Look at that. There was this green one, and the price went up.
Awesome.
There's another one we use over here called the MACD. Okay, and then that normally shows us a trend reversal. Okay, especially like there will be an uptrend, especially if it starts breaking through what we call the histogram, this space here. Okay, and we can see that this blue line actually, well, it touched the red. I think it went under, and then it popped out again. And we can see that it actually climbed in price from there to there for 1.5%. Okay, so if you had caught this one based on that, you could have made 1.5% over there. Oh, it looks like I've got two MACDs. I'll just kill the one. Yeah. So we teach you how to use these what we call these technical indicators in order to try and determine if we want to be getting into a trade or not. Now, Wayne said that we supply signals. It's not really a signal, but we do have software that monitors all these different indicators, and the software is driven by an AI that tries to determine beforehand. And I'm going to give you guys, do you want me to give a presentation on this?
If we move on to, because I just want to talk about percentages, and then we can do this afterwards. Should we do that?
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'll flip back to me and you. Because a lot of people might be thinking, I only make 1%, 3%, you talk about 7, 8%. So I want to explain, guys, one of the magical things. A lot of people know about this, some people won't, but I want to talk about compound interest, okay? And this shows you the real power. I can see, they can't see your screen anymore, but I can see Paul's looking at all the indicators.
No. So I want to point this one out. It was 4.89% they could have made on that trade.
Just share your screen. There's 4.89% on one trade. Okay, obviously it depends.
That over there to there.
So if we take, I want to take, for example, let's say you make 1% per day, which is probably on the lower side if you're good at this type of stuff. I don't do day trading, but I guess that's kind of what people should be aiming for and beyond. Is my kind of guess. Let me share my screen. Okay, put together. You guys know what I'm like with spreadsheets. Okay, you know what I'm like with spreadsheets, and I want to share my screen and show you what 1% each day can do. Okay. Now, can you see my screen, guys? Might be quite small, but I'll zoom in and explain it. Okay, so this assumes like you start. In fact. We'll talk about one of Paul's students that done this afterwards, so I don't think they can hear you now, Paul, while I'm sharing my screen. But one of Paul's students done a similar sort of thing about this, and we'll talk about that afterwards. But you can see I got start with $10, okay, in this first column. The next day, okay, it basically says, what if I grew that 1% per day? Okay, so day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So on and so forth. The same with this one. If you start with $100 and you started trading with that, so on and so forth, what that would turn into each day, and $1,000. Okay, and what that would turn in each day if you made 1% per day. Because obviously, if you start with 1,000 and you add 1%, the first day that turns into $1,010. The next day, it actually turns into $1,020.10. Before long, your $1,000 become $1,100, and you're making 1% on that. Okay, so you're actually making $11 per day. Okay, so hopefully that explain it, guys. So 1% per day is what I've calculated on. You can change this. I can give this out at the end if you want. You can change this percentage to 2, 3. That'll all kind of happen and change the percentage. Okay, let's assume 1% now. Let's look at the $1,000. After almost a year, that $1,000 becomes $36,000. Okay, $36,000 from $1,000 by adding 1% per day. Okay, now I've done a clever little thing here where we can turn that 36 or 35,950. I can copy that, and we can say, right, what would that turn into in the second year? Okay, this is compound interest, guys. This is what pensions are basically on. This is why it's best to start a pension early, because you get the compound interest. Okay, and that's why they grow so much. if I put, say, let's take all the year one figures. So $10 would turn into 360, 100 would turn into 3,600, and 1,000 into 36,000. Okay, so if I go here and paste these in here, this is just them rounded. But anyway, then you can see what happens. At the end of year 2, the compounding turns all of those. So that $100 in year 2 is now worth $13,000. Okay, that $1,000 is worth $129,000, and that $10,000 is so big it doesn't fit in the graph. It's now 1.29 million, I think that is, because of that 1%. Okay, I would do year 3, but I think the figures will be so big that'll be ridiculous. Can you see the power of compound interest and just earn that 1% per day, guys? Let me know that makes sense. It's really simple. And if I go to, I've done this beforehand. Albert Einstein is reputed to have said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Okay, he who understands it earns it. He who doesn't understand it pays it. And that is what all these big traders, all these big investment funds, that's what they do. They understand compound interest. Right? This is a massive thing. I remember the first time I understood compound interest, and I was amazed by the idea. So if that makes sense and you've got a big aha moment from that, okay, give me an aha down below. And if you can do it in Alan Partridge's 8th wonder of the world, yes, Dennis gets it. Makes sense. This is super powerful, guys, and I just wanted to put that in there. You can apply this to anything in life. Anything. Bank interest. Okay, you can apply it to, obviously, you're not going to get 1% per year at the minute in a bank. I don't even know what the bank's interest is at the minute, to be honest, but, you know, 1% per day. Obviously, to earn this type of thing on this graph would take you to a year. On this graph, in real life, you'd never earn that in a bank. Okay? Aha. I see some people are trying to do it in Alan Partridge's voice. Awesome. So did that make sense, Paul? I just wanted to put that out there so people see, you know, you can earn more than 1%, you can earn less than 1%, you can earn minus. But Paul's put together this software, okay? Paul's put together the software that kind of gives you them technical, what do you call them, Paul? Technical indicators.
Well,
was it technical indicators?
It monitors the technical indicators and spits out probabilities.
Cool.
When you take those, coupled together with the training, because we teach you how to read the graphs, how to do everything, and you couple those together, then we actually feed you potential trades. That's what it does. It gives you the potential trades, and it's up to you to actually then pull the trigger, because we are not licensed to trade on behalf of other people. And I promise you, if we said that we were, after what I taught you in the beginning, you'd run in the opposite direction. Do not ever trust anybody to trade for you. So we teach you how to create that skill to make money on demand. I know that sounds like really airy-fairy, but that's the reality, folks, is when you master this, you're actually mastering a skill that you can take anywhere in the world with you and make money on demand. So some of the people that trade with us or trade using our system, they make a full-time living doing this, making money on demand. Some of them go, oh, okay, I need some petrol money. They do a few trades, they cash it out, and off they go. That is the reality. Yeah.
Tell us the story, which you told me. Yes.
You want to know about Lee?
Yeah, yesterday I think. How she turned $100. Tell us that story, because this is the power of compound, guys. You have to really get the power of compound and to see how powerful this stuff is.
Well, I'll couple a couple of stories together, because it was a girl called Lee and a friend of hers called Lily, and they joined Icoin Pro when we first launched. And between the two of them, they knew absolutely nothing about Bitcoin. They'd heard about it. They wanted to learn a little bit more. And Lee, she approached her husband and she said, "Listen, I want to try this trading thing, and I want to put like $100 into it." Now they used to do a pizza night once a week, and she said to her husband, "I'll tell you what, if we can give up a couple of weeks of pizza night, so I've got the $100, I want to give this trading thing a go. She took that $100 and in the space of about 2 years, she turned it into $115,000. Now, the last time that I spoke to her was back in probably the beginning of last year, the beginning of 2020, when she had surpassed $115,000. From then until now, she's probably made another $100,000. Her biggest thing was that she always wanted to be a policewoman. She'll probably kill me for telling people it's like her secret thing. She always wanted to be a policewoman, and she didn't ever want to like worry about money. So now she's in a position where she can actually chase that, become a policewoman, trade in her spare time, and still replace her previous income because she went full time. And her friend Lily was in a similar position where she hated her job, she hated her boss. And between the two of them, they mastered the system. Lily then went on to a point where she's making upwards of $2,000, $2,500 a day from trading. All she wanted to do was replace her husband's income so that she could have him at home more often. Her husband's name is Mike Cannon. And Mike then, well, what is this thing that you're doing? And he jumped on board, and now he's been doing $3,000 days. Okay, and these are, well, Lee's from Australia, and Lily and Mike, they're from New Zealand. And they are probably some of our top mentors, and they do training for us like once every second week or so, where you can hop onto the training and you can ask them questions, how to do this, how to do that. But it's normally a set training, like where they say, all right, guys, this is the first thing, this is the second, and so on and so on. And that is over and above the service that we offer, and over and above the training that we offer. They give up their time, they don't get paid for it. They absolutely love what we do. They've loved the new lifestyle. They've, between the two of them, the two ladies, Lee and Lily, they've completely refurnished their houses, bought new cars, traveled, and they like our poster kids for the company, because they success stories, and they're very open. Now, there's a lot of people similar to them. They don't want to go on camera and tell people about their success. But Lee and Lily, we've asked them, listen, would you mind? And they've gone, yeah, sure, no problem. Met them in person in Vegas. We do a convention in Vegas. Most genuine, down-to-earth people, and they're making thousands of dollars a day.
What I'm going to do there, Paul, I'm going to show what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to show you Paul's timeline, okay, just to show you Paul's results. Again, he's got some disclaimers on there, and we'll give a disclaimer as well. And then we're going to show you one example of the tools that these guys have put together. So I'm just going to flick to your screen, but you can see here, guys, these are Paul's results, okay? Today's P&L, you can see they got the disclaimer, okay? Really important. It's based on the education. But you can see this month's, today's P&L. You can see, like, Paul is a master at this stuff. He's educated himself, okay? He's learned how to use the system. He's learned how to use the tools. And there was a post actually done on the 18th about falling for these crypto scams, okay? And that's a really important post. I'd let you read it, but we want to show you guys, okay? Who wants to see the tools that these guys have put together? These, I'll let you say, I think we've got enough time to probably just show one, maybe about the squeeze you mentioned, the Bollinger Bands. Who wants to see these tools, guys? Give me a big fat yes down below, and then we'll show you these tools. I want to see how excited you guys are to see this, because this is, like, the stuff they've put together is insane. I think you actually can show not just what the tools show you, but also how accurate they were as well. Like some of the, which is no one else does that. Rosemary says yes, please. We've got one yes so far, guys. Two, David, Linda, here they all come. Brilliant. Okay, so I'll share your screen again, mate, if you want to. I can see me at the minute. Oh, there we go.
You should be able to see my screen now.
Yes, can see it now, mate.
All right, folks. This is what we call the Trade Finder. Now, the Trade Finder was something that we introduced to our training probably about 3 years, well, about 2.5 years ago now. And this was a massive game changer because, like I said earlier, this is a tool that's driven completely by an AI, and it automatically reads all those technical indicators, the Bollinger Bands and the MACD and the RSI and so on, and it spits out what we call these probabilities. Now, I mentioned early on something called a squeeze. Okay, now that's when the Bollinger Bands are starting to come together. We look at squeezes, we look at anticipated dips. This is where the AI anticipates that a coin is about to drop in price. And then we also look at dips. This is while the coin is dipping, currently dipping, it lets us know. So maybe you want to try and catch the bottom of a wave, it lets us know. But we're just going to be looking at squeezes, okay? Now, remember I said that there are so many different pairs, right? We look at certain pairs that only have a certain amount of volume and so on, all right? And we also look at different exchanges. I'm just going to deselect Ploniax and Bittrex. I'm just going to look at Binance. Binance is probably one of the, well, they are the biggest. Now, if you're in the United States, you would use Binance.us, except if you're in states like New York and Washington, then we would suggest that you use Coinbase Pro. But you can, I'm going to show you this on Binance, okay? And I'm going to select all the currency pairs that we have taught this AI to look for, because we don't want people to put their money into coins where the trades are just no good, okay? And then you can also select to see how much volume in the last 24 hours. Recommended is $500,000. I'm just going to stick it on 1 million, and you can see that it's now spitting out all these trades. And then you got some choices here, and you can see that it tells us squeezes. There's a squeeze. If we had to select some of the others and add those in, we would then see them pop up. Put the dips in there. If I had to scroll down, it would show us. Let's give it a couple of seconds and it'll do its thing. Because at the bottom here, you can see that it says status, connected and finding alerts. It does this 24/7, 365 non-stop. As long as these exchanges are running, it does its thing. So while we wait for it to try and find some dips and anticipated dips, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we would then do with this information. Okay, so it's telling us this coin over here, Digibyte, is probably in a squeeze formation. Okay. And then you've got some choices. You can go to CoinMarketCap, which is a website that will tell you more about the actual project. What is Digibyte? What does it do? Who's behind it? And so on. Okay. Otherwise, you can go directly to TradingView and you can do some technical analysis there if you wish. Or otherwise, you can go directly to the exchange that we've asked for. Okay. So Binance. I'm going to click on that button right now, and I want to go and see if the technical indicators are right. So remember, we said that we're looking for a squeeze. So I just probably need to go in here and, oh, it's not allowing me to. Okay, let's just wait for it to load. All right. Okay. So the Bollinger Bands are there. I'm going to go to the 5 minutes. Oh, okay, that's actually a horrible example. Let me find it, because this is a bit of a low priced coin. I'm going to try and find something that's a little bit easier to see it. Okay, let's do Monero. So we're looking for a squeeze formation where the Bollinger Bands are slowly coming together. Let's see how accurate the software actually is. It works best on coins that are, okay. Can you guys see that the distance over there, from there to the bottom, is 1.76%. But the distance from there to there is just 1.1%. So it's definitely moving into what we call a squeeze position, moving into a squeeze, and possibly will produce what we call a squeeze trade. Then we teach you how to read all the other indicators to determine whether you actually want to get into this or not. So this is highly accurate. I will let's go with another one. So like a Litecoin. So it says it's going into a squeeze. We either look on the 5 minutes or the 1 hour. So right there, I've got it on 5 minutes. Okay. Look at that, folks. Right. So I'm going to measure the top there. Top to bottom, 1.63% versus here, 1.06%. So we can definitely see that it's moving into a squeeze as well. So folks, yes, this software is very accurate. Wayne, back to you.
Awesome, mate. So, what other tools? Let's not go into depth in them because we want you guys to see the power of these. What other tools have you got inside your software there?
I'm not going to share my screen, but we got something called the RS Icoin. What the RS Icoin does is it remember that one technical indicator that I spoke about, where if it was over X amount or over a certain amount, it was overbought, or if it was below, it was oversold. We got a tool that displays all of those in terms of, well, actually, I suppose I could show. Give me a second, let me load it up. Go back to share my screen. It's nice to see it with your own eyes. I'll show you.
Yes.
Okay, so you see everything that's in red? Overbought. Okay, so everything that shows up in red means it's overbought, meaning that too many people have bought and the price is probably going to come down. So that, like, we would not want to trade on any of those. We then move it around in order to try and find the green ones. We're probably not going to see any green ones today because the markets have been really, really volatile today. Normally it works on anything that is under, no. So the only thing that it's showing us today is anything that has been overbought, all right? And it works from under 30. So if there was anything that was under 30, it would show up here in green, similar to how this is in red, okay? Anything that's under 30, it will show green. Anything that's over 70 will show red. And that will tell us whether the coin has been overbought or oversold. So a lot of people use that as a strategy as well. And they just want to look for the things that show up on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, or the 1 day RSI as being green, and then couple that together with the information that I've shown you before to try and determine whether this is a good trade or not. Today, it's all about what we call dips, because prices have come down and a lot of stuff has been overbought, hence why we're seeing all the red.
Awesome.
So it's also another indicator to show you which way the market's going. We've also got something called the fear and greed index. I'll show you some of the stuff. When people are fearful, it will come this side and it changes. So you can kind of get an idea of what the sentiment across the entire market is about. We've also got something called the oversold index, which takes the entire market and has a look at what is oversold. And when things are completely oversold like that, we start seeing a massive a massive increase in the entire market. I'll give you a good example. Okay, it doesn't go before January 2018. So if you went to, I think, October 2017, you would just see a field of green, and then from there prices shot up. So there's tools that show you different things.
Awesome. So you've got everything with this tool that show you it does all the technical analysis for you. You go in and decide whether you want to take the trade based on their training. So guys, everything we've covered is kind of an overview, pretty in depth. We covered a lot more than I thought we would. But who would love to get not just the tools, but all the training behind it as well? Everything we covered here, how to use all the tools, how to go for that 1% plus per day. Give me a big fat yes down below, and I'll tell you exactly where to go to get all of the training you need. Okay, this is all the training you need to make cryptocurrencies work in your favor. Never worry about getting bloody scammed with cryptocurrencies again, and get access to these all-important tools. Okay, put a yes down below, and I'll show you exactly how to get it. Let's see how many yeses we get. But Paul, that was brilliant. The tools you've given us there, that tool is amazing. The work you must have put into that.
Yeah, we continuously change and tweak and so on. So we've got a full-time developer that continuously updates the AI to be a little bit more responsive, to try and find we work out any kinks. I mean, because this is it's an ever evolving beast, and we've always got to try and update, remove coins, and so on from the tool. So there's always work going on in the background there, constant updating, and we do a commit at least once a week from the repository to update it. So everything gets updated weekly. So you'll notice. So you'll go in there and you'll see that there might be 800 different pairs today. Tomorrow 400 is because some have been removed, and so on and so on. So Always making updates.
Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen, guys, and show you get access, and then Paul's going to tell you everything you get, because this thing is fully comprehensive. We've got loads of SSM, which is brilliant. So you go to your OLSP system, go as soon as you log in. You might need to log out and in again. Scroll down to income stream multiplier. Okay. Scroll down a bit. It's all now open. Okay, it's all now open. Click income stream 1, tell me more. Okay, and then click start income stream 1 now. Mute the site. That will take you here. Click get started. Okay, scroll down. Tick the $99 a month. Okay, you get access to everything that's been mentioned. It's absolutely massive, guys. You get access to absolutely everything. The most important thing is the tools, okay? You get access to the tools that were mentioned. You scroll down, put your billing info in. You get straight in to... Let me log into mine. And you go into the train, and it shows you everything from buying Bitcoin, using the software, absolutely everything. So any problems with the link, let me know, but the link's all in, working now, brilliant. You need to jump in, guys, because I do not want anyone ever joining something else to do with Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. This is the only training you're actually going to need, okay? With the tools that Paul and his team put together, you can pretty much say you've spent 4 years developing that, can't you, Paul, to the point it is where it is now.
Well, we still, like I said, there's still always ongoing work. We've got a full-time developer who's always updating stuff and so on. And every Thursday we give out new training. It might be Justin does something called Chart Talk, where he discusses like what's happening on the charts, what to look for, and so on and so on. Lee might do some training. I might tell people how certain wallets work, or so on and so on. So there's always new stuff coming out.
Awesome. So guys, that's exactly how you get it. I think we'll answer. There's one more question. Dennis says, how does it work for taxes and things? That will be a local thing. That'll be a local thing, because it'll be very different country to country.
Yeah, absolutely. There was actually a website called something to do with crypto tax. I can't really remember. Let me see if I can Google that quickly. Crypto tax. Cryptotax.io. All right, cryptotax.io is the website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Bitcoin and crypto tax reporting. So you can use that to try and figure out. I think this is the website that I'm thinking about. Oh yeah, okay, it is. All right, so you can go there and actually use the API to plug into whatever exchange that you use, like Binance or Poloniex or whatever the case is, and then what they will then do is determine, based on your trades, what your profits were and how much you owe in tax.
Bert's got an interesting question. This will be the last question, guys. And I know the answer to this. I'll let Paul answer. Will the fees eat up your profits?
As long as you stick to going for above what the fees are. So now on Binance charges 0.1 maker, 0.1 taker %. So a total of 0.2. Okay. If you decide to use their native coin, the BNB Binance coin, to pay your fees, then you only pay 0.75 either way. Okay, so then your total for a trade would be 0.15%. So that is a 15th of pretty much of a percent. No, I lie. It's a tiny amount. So as long as you go for anything above 0.25 or 0.5%, 1%, 2%, and you're making more than the fees are eating, you'll always be in profit.
Yeah. They actually have a calculator for that as well, guys.
Oh yeah, we do. So all up, like in the back end of the website, we've got a number of different calculators for you to use, which includes the fees. So like you put in, this is what I've bought at, it will tell you this is what you should sell at, including that works out the fees for you.
Awesome. I'm going to show you once more how to get it, guys, including the tools. Okay, for me, it's important you get them tools because they'll help. You know, you can see the help is going to be they take out all the confusion. So you might be in the income stream multiplier already if you're watching the recording, but if you're not, scroll down to income stream multiplier. Okay, the video we've just done today will actually go in here. Okay, that will go in here for future people. Start income stream 1 now. It'll go to here. Fill out. Go to get started, top right. Click get started. Scroll down. Tick the $99.95 per month. Okay, because you want access to them tools. There's a little tick box there if you want to become a super affiliate. They give you affiliate training, and then fill out your details. Click join now. As soon as you're in, okay, you've got all this stuff on the left. You can join their Facebook group, and you can see their Facebook group has tons, 13.8 thousand people. Fantastic Facebook group, guys. And then make your way through the training. And literally by here, they give you the first money making strategy. You get the calculators using all their tools. The calculators are in here somewhere. But yeah, you get access to everything as soon as you join. And you can even go, guys, when you join up on the link inside your system. You can go, we won't go through this now, but you can go to genealogy and you'll see I'll actually start putting people in your team. Okay? But there's more to it than just that, and we'll go through that in other videos. Anything else you want to say, Paul, before we call it a day?
No, I just want to say thanks so much. My voice is done. I can't speak anymore.
Yeah.
For joining us, guys. It's been a real pleasure. Add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm happy to answer any questions. Just anything that you throw my way, I'm happy to answer if you're a member of Icoin Pro. And look forward to working with you guys. Look forward to answering your questions. Look forward to getting to know you. Maybe at one of our Vegas conventions, you guys come along, tell us your story, how you took your $500 and turned it into $50,000. I want to hear that. Wayne, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Cheers, Paul. It's always nice when you share your knowledge, mate, because I know how passionate about it. Guys, click the link, okay? If you're in the income stream, multiply the links down below. If you're watching on the live, you need to go into OLSP system, like I showed you, and click through, okay? And I will see you inside the Icoin group myself, and have fun with this, guys. Learning this, it is fantastic, and there's something, once you know it, and once you know how to use the tools, it never leaves you. Okay, the tools aren't going anywhere. It'll be here. Paul said 25 years. I expect it will be. Okay, not like these other things. Thanks very much, guys. Oh, sorry, Paul.
We launched 3.5 years ago. Well, we're going on 4 years now. We're not going anywhere.
No,
we survived the crypto winter when everything went pear-shaped in 2018, 2019. We were still operating, because one of the techniques that we teach is how to buy when things are dipping, like how to profit, which you will learn about, and that's the buy the dip. You might want to learn that in case things go down. But yeah, guys, I look forward to meeting all of you sometime in the future. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, Arnold. The link is inside the Arnold, no need to put link 500 times. The link's inside the OLSP system, like I just showed you. Okay, guys, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you in the next live. Take care, everybody. Yeah, bye-bye.
Cheers.